Rowan trees are really tough. Their other name is mountain ash, and you can see why they've got such a name. Here it's just growing between these massive boulders of granite, and this bit here that I'm stepping on is just a load of roots growing out the side of it here. They're a really lovely tree. They get about 50 feet tall. They're quite happily growing as a pioneer tree, just in amongst gorse bushes, one of the first trees to arrive in a new woods. But also, like this one here, they grow quite happily in the under canopy. So they get about 50 feet tall. They have really lovely bark, which is really visible in the winter, this very silvery bark. And then they have clusters of flowers in the late summer. And then in the autumn, they have these really lovely orange berries. So they've got 3 seasons of interest, really. They'll grow in dry places like this quite happily, but they'll also grow in kind of semi-boggy areas. And they're very sort of good at sort of growing really anywhere, and just really tough. The bark and the berries have a load of medicinal uses, and it's just a very good tree for wildlife. And one thing about them is that they do seem to be adapted to a colder climate, because they are one of the last trees to bud with their leaves in the spring, and they're one of the first trees to lose their leaves. Their leaves have gone usually colourful by September, and they've lost them by October, and they don't really sprout until kind of sort of well into May usually. And when they do sprout, you get a very long load of growth, boing, like this, and then they stop for about June, and they don't really grow anymore, just a little bit maybe. So although they can grow quite quickly, you can see as this tree has leant over a bit, it sent up new shoots coming up from the base to sort of straighten itself. So this one just becomes like a side branch, and then it sends up a new straight one to replace the actual tree. So they are kind of good at doing that. Very tough tree. They often spread through forests by one branch kind of falling over and rooting in, so they kind of layer themselves. Even through the densest of forests, they can survive as this little layered bits, and then as soon as there's a gap in the canopy, they send up a tree again. So they are quite good at growing under trees there. I mean, this is under trees. There's actually a mixture of conifers and deciduouses, so it's kind of darker than usual, and they are doing really well. So it comes from kind of northern Europe, northern Asia, right across Russia, Siberia, and sort of like really grows in mountainous areas. It's in the genus sorbus, of which there are many other types. So yeah, rowan trees are really good, hardy, adapted tree for growing in all kinds of environments. Very tough, beautiful tree.